Okay, this week we're down in Bedfordshire. I've been doing some training for some guys on DSC Level 2, but we took the opportunity to get out for a stalk on Chinese water deer. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, we're down in sunny Bedfordshire. Well, it is sunny Bedfordshire actually. Down here with some guys doing a bit of level 2 training. We're finished for the day. We've got an hour. I'm going to just go and have a look down the bottom here. Paul's had a bit of damage done to some oilseed rape crop and some of the winter barley on the bottom. There's quite a few deer congregating down there, so he's finished shooting in this particular area for a couple of days. There's a couple of cover crops down here. So he said if you get a chance, just nip down and have a look and maybe try and shoot the cull Chinese water deer just to deter them a little bit. So that is the plan. We've maybe got an hour if we're lucky. So we're just going to nip down quickly and see if we can find anything. Really cold wind this. We've got a couple of options, or I've got a couple of options now. There's 4 Chinese water deer laid in the oilseed rape crop, which actually are now out of sight, so we'd have a fairly easy approach across the field behind the kind of hedge and then probably have a shot into them, but I don't really want to go too close to Paul's cover crop. Birds will be starting to draw in now as it gets sort of duskish. I don't really want to disturb that. I'll let them settle. So what I think I'm going to do is going to walk along the bottom side here, but we're not going to disturb the crop. And there should be a little sheltered area just in the corner here. So Chinese water deer, like any other deer, cold wind, generally tucked in out the weather. So I'm pretty sure we'll find some deer out there. So I think that's the option that I'm going to take. Bear in mind that the light will go quickly. There's a biggish buck just running across the field there. They're not actually fully starting to rut yet. It's just started to see a little bit of a hint of the start of that. Some of the younger bucks are starting to get a bit playful and chasing around, and 1 or 2 of the bigger bucks I've seen just starting to pontificate a little bit, but they're certainly not fully rutting, but I reckon that's just about to kick off. So we should see some proper rutting activity over the next few days, hopefully. I'm not sure. That's quite a decent animal. That's going to make a good. That's actually going to make a decent cheek. So I think it's too good to shoot. think there's, just carefully because I think there's some around the corner. Okay, this is one of the difficulties with Chinese water deer stalking, and the guys that are really struggling with a little bit is identifying what is a cull animal. It's worth taking a little bit of time and watching the deer. A couple of deer we saw earlier on which were going to make good animals and are already developing quite a bit of tusk. I mean, this will make a good animal if it's a youngster, but this is what we mean by a cull buck. So this is just a young Chinese water deer, tusk just emerging. Small animal, young animal, good condition. But these are the animals that Paul wants taking off at the moment, early season. Take a reasonably high percentage of the younger bucks and then leave obviously a range of bucks to come through. And the reason that we're particularly on this field is you can just see beans emerging, just all starting to emerge as the colder weather comes now. The Chinese are going to start nibbling these, so potential for quite a lot of damage. So, you know, this is one of the fields that clearly, you know, wants to keep an eye on and protect the crop just as it's coming through. Okay, for kind of safety now, I've underloaded the rifle basically, so I've emptied the rifle, checked it's clear, closed the bolt, put the magazine underneath with a full, you know, the remaining rounds in the magazine, but the rifle is not loaded. So I'm going to carry the Chinese now over to the nice sort of couple of deciduous trees over here. I'll just get a low branch, suspended gralloch, nice quick clean suspended gralloch into the row sack and then back to the larder, and then we'll clean it all up. Just before I remove the anus, what I want to show you here is the fat that's contained within the carcass. So if Steve just brings the camera around here, I mean, that is just incredible. I think to say what you're looking for in kidneys is encased in fat is an indication of good health. This just shows you. Look at the amount of fat through there. I mean, Talk about good living. Nice clean pelvic area, suspended grommet way forward. Very easy now, this steel grommet itself. Pity Zosha's not here, she'd be loving those. She'll be able to watch it on a telly later on. And basically just free off the diaphragm skirt. Massive shot damage. So you've got the entry just through the heart, skimmed spinal area, and then quite a large exit. This is the 6.5 by 55, and this is 120 grain Norma. Very good flat shooting round. And to be honest, on Chinese water deer, often you're taking quite rangy shots because of the open nature of the fields, and you want something that's going to shoot flat. And it's a really good eating, these Chinese water. There's a lot of fat on them, more fat than I see on any other deer. The only one close to it would be Seeker, but they don't have the same amount of fat. The body fat and the suet in here is just unbelievable. But in these sort of conditions, eating falls pheasant food most of the time, plus these crops, and is there any wonder really why you've got, you know, beautiful conditions. They're a lovely deer actually, pretty little deer. Not quite as pretty as my favourite roe, but they're alright.
So this week we're going to be having a look at the Thermion Pro 2 LRF, which stands for Laser Range Finding Scope. So this is a thermal scope. As you can see, there's quite a large attachment bit on top there, which is your laser rangefinder. The rest of the scope is very much the same as the traditional Thermion model. So you've got the 30mm scope body, so you can use standard day scope mounts. Again, like the Thermion, you've got the main controls on the eyepiece, so you've got your record button, your magnification, and your laser rangefinder. The power button on this one is here on the back of the laser rangefinder, and the focus is on the side here, on both sides, which is quite convenient if you're left-handed like me. So there's a scroll wheel on the side here with a select button in the middle, so you can scroll through your menu and select various options. Under the top turret here is one form of the power supply, which is an external battery which drops in there. There's also a second battery source, or second power source I should say, which is a rechargeable battery which is built into the unit. On the other side here is your charging port for the internal battery. There's also a built-in lens cap. So like most Pulsar products, we've got a recording facility which also records sound. This is recorded directly to the internal memory. It can also be streamed via the Stream Vision app to a separate mobile phone or tablet via Wi-Fi. So the magnification of the scope steps up in 3 stages. With the press of the button, it goes from 4 to 8 and then on to 16. You've also got a selection of reticles as well as colour palettes, and also picture-in-picture mode. Using this scope in the field, you should be able to identify foxes out to probably about 200 yards. I used this scope last night and shot a couple of foxes with it. The furthest one was about 180, and yeah, I could see quite clearly that was a fox out there. You will, however, find that the higher the magnification you use the scope on, you will get some pixelation with it, like most digital night vision and thermal units. realistic battery life on this, I'll say if you're using it in on the standby mode and you're using a thermal spotter as well to spot, then you're going to, I would think, last all night probably just on the internal battery. But of course you've also got the extra external batteries that drop in the top there just to back that up, and you can also buy extra ones as well should you wish to. So in the time that I've had the scope to use, I've not had any problems with it. I found it very easy to use. It's very easy to zero as well. The one-shot zero system that Pulsar have on these scopes, it really does make zero in a doddle. I zeroed it in probably 3 or 4 shots. So yeah, I've been impressed with it. It's well worth considering if you're considering a thermal scope. Then this is a good option, especially if you want something with a laser rangefinder on it.
Okay, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like us on the social media platforms, and remember, if you're not a member of BASC, it's time to join. Looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.
If you aren't a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you.